I'm Danny, and I've been teaching English online to kids in China for 4 years now. So, how much money can you actually make teaching English online to kids in China? Let's talk about it. Today, I'm going to share the average pay for newbie teachers and more veteran teachers to get an idea of how much you can make as a part-time teacher and see if it's a good fit for you. At the end of the video, I'm also going to share how you can make more money faster teaching ESL online. I actually was able to pull around 60 online English teachers on my Instagram account to help me make this video, so exciting stats to come. Also, if you're wondering what are the top online English teaching companies for beginners with the highest pay, definitely check out this video and be sure to check out my online English teacher freelance freedom course. What's up? I'm Danny of Hey Danny J, and I help people build lives of freedom through teaching English online and also building scalable teacher brands on YouTube. Let's begin. Teaching English online to kids in China. How much money can you actually make as a newbie teacher? I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're probably new to ESL or you're a prospective teacher. When I first got into ESL teaching, I knew nothing. I was pretty clueless. And so if that's how you're feeling too, no worries. The companies that I recommend working for, and again, that video that I recommend, I go through them all. They're all Chinese companies where you are given the curriculum. You don't have to make any curriculum yourself. Classes are one-on-one. They're generally 25 minutes long. Some companies I recommend you're teaching multiple students at a time, but the main ones that I like to work for are usually one-on-one. And as an online ESL teacher, you are an independent contractor. If you have a computer, Wi-Fi, a headset, you can really teach anywhere in the world. It is super flexible. It is one of the best jobs. So with that general overview, let's talk hourly pay. I found that most companies pay anywhere from $14 to $27 an hour if you are from the US or Canada and you have a bachelor's degree. Now there's other companies out there, definitely check out that video, but I am most familiar with companies that hire from the US, Canada, and the UK just because I am based in the USA. On average, I have found for US and Canadian teachers, the pay to be around $19 to $23 an hour. That seems to be the sweet spot. I asked on my Instagram account, what was your base rate pay when you got started teaching ESL online? I'll put it up for you here. And you can see that a lot of people actually put $8 to $8.50. I have really found, as someone who refers, $8.50 seems to be right now kind of like the general sweet spot that a lot of companies are offering to US and Canadian applicants with a bachelor's degree. Now, that is per 25-minute class, and it is not including incentives and bonuses. So for example, like with GoGoKid, which is the main company that I teach English with, they have incentives anywhere from $1.50 to $2.50 per class. So let's say you had a base rate pay of $8.50 per class, that would be $17 an hour, but you made an extra $1.50 a class as well. That's an extra $3. That means you're making $20 an hour after you start teaching for a little bit, and you can build up to that incentive. Now, I'm not going to go all into incentives right now, but no, most all companies offer some sort of incentive either for attending class or for teaching a certain amount of classes per week. As a newbie online English teacher, as an independent contractor, usually it takes you a little bit of time to build up classes. Most companies don't book for you. Parents book for you, like with companies like VIP Kid and GoGoKid. So it may take you a month or so to build up a pool of regular students. So your week as a newbie teacher probably is going to look like this. Your first week, you'll probably be able to teach around 5 hours that week, which is 10 classes. And then maybe the next week you teach 10, and then from there you can build up to 20. So if you had 5 hours, 10 hours, 20, and then 20, that would be 55 hours that month. My poll on Instagram showed that many new teachers were able to actually teach 20 hours kind of right away. So I've eased into it a little bit because I found it usually takes a little while. So maybe you're able to just hit 20 hours right off the bat, but let's ease into it a little bit. Let's say you did 55 hours your first month. That would mean you'd be making anywhere from around $1,045 to $1,375 extra that month. I'd say to always expect your first month teaching ESL online to be a lot lower than your months that follow that. Because you're building up regulars, you're getting more used to it, you're able to feel more confident to opening more hours. So 2 to 3 months in, I'd say you could be on average teaching anywhere from 20 to 30 to 40 hours a week. So I think it's important to note that a lot of people teach English online as a part-time gig, as a side hustle. In my poll, I found that most people said that they're teaching anywhere from 15 to 20 hours a week. So it is really something part-time, but that brings in some nice income for them on the side. Now, let's talk more seasoned teachers. You've been teaching for a while and you want to go full-time. I get asked a lot, can you teach English online to kids in China full-time? You can. It is definitely possible. I know there's a VIP kid teacher, Teacher Jay, who had a video where he was making around like $70,000 to $80,000 a year teaching for VIP kid because he was teaching full time. Now, teaching full time can be difficult in the States or in Canada because that means you're pulling a lot of all-nighters. So it's easier if you're like an expat and you live overseas. I think then it's a lot easier because you can teach during the day. But if you're going to teach full-time to kids in China and you live in the States, that means you're going to be actually, having some sort of like a nocturnal schedule going on. But it is possible. I would say though, I have found that about 6 hours seems to be the sweet spot. A lot of teachers that want to teach a bigger schedule teach around 6 hours. I think you can face a lot of burnout if you teach past that. So let's say that you taught 6 hours for 5 days a week. That would be 120 hours a month. So you'd be making anywhere from $2,280 to $3,000 a month. Not bad. So you can make pretty good money, especially if you need a side hustle teaching English online to kids in China. And let me tell you, it is such a fun job and the kids are so cute. But I said that I would share now, what is my tip to be able to make more money faster teaching English online? You may have heard me talk about this before. I highly, highly recommend, and again, I mentioned this in that video you should check out of the 10 things I wish I knew before teaching ESL Online, is that as an independent contractor, you can teach for more than one company. So I highly recommend that you start teaching with one company and then you add on another company a month to 2 months in and you leverage your pay. So for me, I started with VIP Kid and I had a base rate pay of I think around like $750. And then with GoGo Kid, I was able to get a base rate pay of $950 because I had this experience from VIP Kid that I brought to the table. So it's really helpful if you can get some experience with one company, leverage it, and add on other ESL companies. And I talk all about this in the Online Teacher Freelance Freedom course, but something to really keep in mind, and that's gonna help you grow your income a little bit faster and get higher base rate pays. Also, companies have different bonuses, and a lot of companies have monthly bonuses like GoGo Kids. So let's say GoGo Kid is a monthly bonus and it's a better gig to teach for them this month, but then the next month maybe it's a VIP Kid. That way you can kind of leverage what's going on with each company and teach where you are paid the most money. I also recommend for teachers who are trying to make more money and build passive income to get into referring like I do. If you start teaching with a company, take note of the application process and share the job with your friends or family who maybe also need a side hustle. It's a great way to help them get a job and also make some referral bonuses yourself, as companies pay anywhere usually from about $65 to $150 per referral. I always recommend getting on YouTube and sharing your experience. I did that like the first day I got in with GoGo Kid. I thought, you know what? This is a great gig. I'm going to share this with people. And if you're interested in getting started and sharing your experience on YouTube, then definitely check out my free YouTube cheat sheet. I always thought that there wasn't room at the table for me to be able to refer, or I was too new of a teacher, or I didn't know enough. And that's just not the case. If you were interested in it, just do it. There is room for you, I promise. If this video was helpful for you, it's so helpful for me. If you can give a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, say hello, and you can check out these other videos while you wait for next week's video. See you next time.